You're listening to the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network, home of the #1 sports talk show on the planet, The Doug Stewart Show.
This is a revolution in radio, the realest, trillest sports talk show in America, The Doug Stewart Show.
Broadcasting live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time, exclusively on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network.
This is sports talk for the people.
Follow Stewart Media and Entertainment right now on Facebook to stay connected and locked in for upcoming events like the Couples and Cocktail Series, viewing parties, and much, much more. Up next, get ready to ride raw with the Doug Stewart Show.
This is sports talk with hot sauce, Texas Pete hot sauce, the Doug Stewart Show.
Exclusively on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network.
Yes! Let me tell you about Travel by Stats. Travel by Stats delivers premium travel packages and provide excellence by focusing on assuring that their tour itinerary is clear. For destinations they've never taken, they even take the trip in advance of the actual one you're about to take. This ensures everybody has a great experience. They've been around since 1988 and have been operating here in Atlanta since 2000, starting from the ground up, but they now boast of a team operating in 5 states. Travel by Stats not only specializes in Caribbean destinations, they also provide a variety of reasonable, cost-efficient events by land, air, or sea. One of their big things is sports travel for football fanatics who live in Metro Atlanta. That's the fun way to go anyway. Here's some of their upcoming list of events. Giants at Cowboys, Falcons at Giants, Falcons at Cowboys, Cowboys at Saints, Patriots at Cowboys, and many, many more. Contact them at 855-266-6675, extension 700, for the owner, Maritza Wilmer. Again, that's 855-266-6675, extension 700. If you mention my name, Doug Stewart, you'll receive an extra 10% off your package. Travel by Stats. Where they don't sell travel, they sell fun.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets, with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
Doctor, this is the mayor talking.
All right.
Doctor,
Come on, what?
always do the right thing.
If you came here to hear for fake, you are in the wrong place. We are for real around here. We keeps it real. This is the Doug Stewart Show, the livest, the realest, the trillest sports talk show in America. Are you not entertained? This is Sports Talk with Hot Sauce, Texas Pete Hot Sauce, the Doug Stewart Show. Yes! Game time, Shawty. Yes, sir! Yes! What's happening? And welcome to the Doug Stewart Show. This is a Throwback Thursday. And thank you so much for joining your boy. Really do appreciate it. Oh, boy. Jokers are real funny, man. They are very, very funny. Bring that back one more time. Bring it back! Yes, sir. Bring it back. Mickey Fickies are real funny. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, the realest, trillest sports and guy talk show in America. Thank you for joining your boy. Again, it's a Throwback Thursday. We're going to have a lot of fun today as we usually do. So I'm laughing at myself. or laughing because I was just on Periscope. And shouts out to everybody that follows me on Periscope and on Twitter and on Instagram and on Facebook and in the Doug Stewart Show Facebook group. Thank you so much. But I was just doing a pre-show Periscope. And you can find me on all the social media platforms at the Doug Stewart Show. And someone brought up the story about Terrell Owens that came out yesterday. And I don't know, where was he at? Let's see if I can see where this actually took place at. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Brentwood, California, at a Starbucks. And maybe you've seen it, but Terrell Owens got into some type of altercation with a dude, and the dude says Terrell threw his cup at him. And then Terrell says the dude threw his cup at him or something like that, and then Terrell threw coffee on him or something like that. And they were about to squab, and squab means fight. And so the dude was talking real cash-ish, screaming, white guy screaming, and this man called Terrell Owens every derogatory term for a black person in the history of the world. I mean, the guy's name was Armin. He called Terrell Owens, and I'm going to read these in order, a knuckle running. I'm laughing because it's so comical. It's so comical that in 2015 that someone would talk to a man like this. I mean, a grown-ass man. He says, "You effing knuckle-running, spear-chunking, monkey-ass-looking Mickey Ficky." And he says, "I wanted to make him mad and sad. I'm Middle Eastern and Muslim and not KKK." So this guy, Armin, evidently is a Middle Eastern guy. So there's some type of dispute. And the man called Terrell Owens every derogatory term for a black person that you've ever heard in your life. And then he also used the N-word, too, at some point in this thing, man. And, like, to you, spear chucking, like, I ain't heard spear chucking since, like, the early 70s. Like, I thought that term went out of style. But the man used it. He called Terrell Owens a spear chucking, running monkey ass Mickey Ficky. And if you saw the video, and I think it's posted and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, and I promise you I didn't mean to get on this, but this just kind of flowed into the conversation. If you go to the Doug Stewart Show Facebook group, someone posted it in there. I think my man Terrell Scott posted it in the chat. So check it out. Terrell was walking towards dude, like you know, let's get ready, let's do this. And every time Terrell Owens took a step forward, the dude took a step back. And then when Terrell Owens finally was like, all right, I'm done with you, I'm just going to walk away, the guy started coming towards Terrell Owens at that point. It reminds me of all of the internet heroes, the keyboard courage dudes out there that got all kind of things to say about you in a chat room or through an email or whatever, or posting on somebody's blog or whatever. But when you say, listen, meet me somewhere, let's settle this, meet me somewhere, then they got all kind of excuses. And if you watch the video is just comical. All right, man. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. If you're new to the show, trust me, we don't always talk about spear chucking. We don't always do that. We have fun around here, man. I mean, the funnest 2 hours in sports and entertainment and guy talk in the world. Not just America, but in the world. Couple things you need to do if you're new to the show is you need to follow me on Spreaker.com. Follow the Doug Stewart Show on Spreaker.com. There's a little button. Once you get to the show page, there's a little button that says follow. You click on that, and so whenever the show goes live, you'll get alerted, and you'll be up on things going on the network. We actually have a network here. We actually broadcast other shows where we're just getting into that, man. It's going great. Shouts out to my folks, my man Poe on the Poe Politicking Show. Shouts out to Kesey, the Kicking It with Kesey Show. So support them as well. So whenever one of our other shows goes live on the network, or whenever I do a show that has a different time than normal, you'll be alerted. And then hit the little chat button. And that opens up a whole new world to you. The greatest sports, I want to say fantasy, I keep saying fantasy, the greatest sports and guy talk chat room in America I call it the fantasy island of sports chat. And its inhabitants are called the Stewies. Yes, sir. Shouts out to the Stewies. Shouts out to the Stewies. Shouts out to the Stewies. Thank you so much, man. This is the most interactive show in America, man. The number to the show, you can still do it old school style, though, as well as far as being interactive. The number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. We're going to get into some conversation about the new nominees named for the Football Hall of Fame. Houston, Texas make a switch at quarterback. Mayweather-Berto numbers are in from this past weekend. Roddy White calls out Dez Bryant. Kind of, sort of. We'll get into that. And T.I. drops Iggy like a hot potato. We're going to talk about that, too. I just thought about it. I'm going back to the T.O. thing here for a second. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I had an incident very similar to this in Florida, in Pensacola, Florida, back in 1994. My first job out of college, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I just remembered this, so I got to tell this story. My first job out of college I was a manager at Foot Action USA, so I had my own store and everything. I moved up during the ranks in 1 year, and they gave me my own store, which is a big, big thing in that industry. And so they moved me to Pensacola, Florida. So me and one of my frat brothers, actually it was my chapter brother, Martin Roach. He was in town for a golf tournament. He was an amateur golfer at the time. He was on the Nike tour. That's what it was. And so he was in town, and we went out to this little sports bar. And we're just in there playing pool. Everything's good. Nothing's going on. And we leave later on that night. We had a couple beers, and we just walk out. We're leaving. We're in this sports bar. Now, the sports bar is very... What's the word I want to say? It's very Dixie. But no problem. We're in there playing pool, drinking beers. No problem at all. We're having a good time. Then we decide to leave. This is about 11 o'clock at night. And, actually, no, we didn't leave. We were still playing pool. And some people that were playing pool right next to us, they left. They started walking towards the door. This is a kind of big place. When they get to the door, it's two dudes. Two white dudes and one white sister. She wasn't much of one. And they got to the door. When they got to the door, she turns around. I don't know if she'd been drinking, smoking, or getting high or whatever. She turns around and screams out, "You effing ninja!" So me and my boy looked at each other like, what? Wait a minute. So we looked around. We didn't see any other ninjas in there. So she must be talking to us. So we ran to the door. And I had lost it. I had a couple of drinks once again. And they had ran, and they were young. They ran, and they jumped in their car, and they upped the window and locked the doors. And me and my boy ran to the door like, what's up? Get out the car. Get out the car. Get out the car. And surely they wouldn't. But I just had to tell you that quick little story. They had keyboard courage. I mean, we weren't bothering anybody. We were just playing pool. We didn't even say a word to them. And they had all of this bravado and wanted to call people derogatory terms, but they really didn't want to do anything, just like this cat with T.O., man. All right. And Waterhead's laughing at me. I had to tell that story. The number is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. And growing up in South Carolina, you would think at some point I would have heard that term before, directed at me. Never in my life had I ever been called the N-word. Ever until that time when I was just out of college. Crazy, right? Crazy. All right. Thank you for joining me on the Doug Stewart Show. All right, when we get back from the break, man, you see the title of the show. It says, they got their jobs back, Shawty. I'm talking about Jastremsk and McNally, the managers for the New England Patriots. When we get back, I want to talk a little bit about this because it's something I don't understand about this whole story. All right? And when we get back, we'll discuss it. All right? Don't go away. The Doug Stewart Show. In life, things happen, good and bad. And being prepared is always important. If you're like me, a husband, a father, and protector of that family tree, then your family is the most important thing in the world. 95 million U.S. adults don't have protection in place. So, What I've done is put my protection in the hands of the largest and number one independent financial services company in North America, and that's Primerica. They look out for middle America because they believe that offering the most competitive premiums only benefits the client and have been doing so since 1977. If you're a parent, husband, or wife and want to discuss options with one of Primerica's top reps, then call my guy, Greg Wynn, at 678-439-7172. Again, that's 678-439-7172, and he'll put your family first. And hey, tell him that Doug Stewart sent you. Yes! We're doing some huge things here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network, home of the Doug Stewart Show, and the biggest thing being broadcasting other shows. That's right, we're executive producing other shows and playing them on my network. You may have a fantastic show or podcast, but do you have listeners? We got listeners. Over 9,000 followers to the Doug Stewart Show on the Spreaker platform, as well as over 200,000 plus listens to the network itself. So here's what you do. Go to Fiverr.com, that's Fiverr.com, and search the Doug Stewart Show or Stewart Media and Entertainment and get all the details. Or just hit up the producer, Tree at TreeAtTheDougStewartShow.com. That's spelled Trei. Tree at TheDougStewartShow.com, and come and do business with us on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. Yes!
National Debt Relief is one of the country's largest and most reputable debt settlement companies, made up of energetic individuals who are passionate about helping thousands of Americans with debt relief. Most importantly, we're all about helping our customers through a tough financial time in their lives with education and individual customer service. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families rid their lives of burdensome debt, specializing in debt settlement, and they've also negotiated settlements for thousands of creditor and collection accounts. Providing clients with both expertise and proven results, this means helping customers in time of hardship to get out of debt with the least possible cost. It can also mean conducting financial consultations, educating the customer, and recommending the appropriate solution. Core Services offer debt settlement as an alternative. I repeat, alternative to bankruptcy, credit counseling, and debt consolidation. National Debt Relief is your number one advocate group to help you reestablish financial stability as quickly as possible. So give us a call at 844-828-4975. Again, that's 844-828-4975, and work it out.
If you're not doing what the hell are you doing, this is the Doug Stewart Show. And actually, now that I think about it, I've been saying that for years, but clearly you are stewing if you're listening to this right now. But in any regard, thank you so much for joining me on the Doug Stewart Show. This is a Throwback Thursday, 404-382-0338. You can also email me at Doug@thedougstewartshow.com. I'm seeing some of this chatting here, and I am going to be in charge of the chat again today. Tree actually went to a horse fair, and so I'm perusing through some of the chat, and thank you for being interactive, by the way. And I'm perusing through some of the chat, and somebody reminded me that T.O. is good with them hands. Remember Terrell Owens, that thing that supposedly happened in the locker room with Terrell Owens and Hugh Douglas? Now, I've met Hugh Douglas many, many times before. He actually works here in Atlanta on, I'm not going to say the name of the station, but I can't even remember which one it is, on one of the sports stations here in Atlanta over the last year or so. And if you've ever met Hugh Douglas, or if you've ever seen him in person, or even remember him when he played in the NFL, you remember the term, or you've heard the term before, you too light in the ass. Let me tell you something. Hugh Douglas has one of the greatest bases in the history of bases when I'm talking about his foundation. Like, this man is so wide around his thighs and in his ass. Like, he's never been mistaken for being too light in the ass. And allegedly, Hugh Douglas took an L to Terrell Owens. That's word on the street. And I think we actually, I can't remember. I'm not, when I'm definite about a story about something that happened, I'll tell you this is exactly what happened. But I think we had Hugh Douglas on the show one time, and we asked him about that, like, what happened between you and T.O.? People want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. And I think he kind of skirted the question. I think he kind of skirted the question. And, like, I've never heard anybody with inside knowledge say that, Hugh Douglas wrecked the hell out of Terrell Owens. And once again, I got nothing against either guy. We've had Terrell Owens on before. We've had Hugh on before. I don't know. But if you ask people close to the situation or people, in the league or that have been in the league that have contacts in that locker room or in that locker room at that time or the front office, everybody says that T.O. whooped that ass. Now, I find that hard to believe because Hugh Douglas wrestled 340-pound offensive lineman for a living. And Terrell Owens, what, 215, 220? Now, he's a rock-solid Alabama 215, 220, clearly. But I just find that impossible to believe. Now, maybe it was a situation, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Maybe it was a situation where, I don't know, maybe Hugh had just got out the shower, and he had on some flip-flops, and the floor was wet or something like that, and they got to wrestling, and he may have slipped and fell down. But even that, if you got that much of a size difference to a guy, what was Hugh Douglas, 270, 280? If you got that much of a size difference and based on your job occupation, once again, wrestling offensive lineman for a living, you shouldn't take an L. You should not take an L to a 220-pound wide receiver. But word on the street is T.O. got his ass. I don't know. I have no clue, but trust me, everybody we talked to, and Ryan played in the league, so he knows people that gave firsthand accounts. And word on the street is that T.O. put them paws on him. Yeah, yes, sir. So, that dude didn't want none in that video, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen the video. I see people talking about it right now. Terrell Owens about to fight this dude or whatever. No way that dude wanted some of Terrell Owens, man. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. This segment is brought to you by BV Mobile Apps. Are you an entertainer? Do you have a podcast? You need to have an app, man. You need to have that app presence, especially in 2015. It makes your brand look big, just as big as the big boys. Holla at my folks at BV Mobile Apps, and that's Boy Victory, mobileapps.com. My man Gerald Oliveira, he actually created the app for the Doug Stewart Show, and it's fantastic. I've never had an issue with it at all. It's less expensive than you think. Trust me. And they give great customer service as well. So if you need an app, and you're an entertainer in particular, that's kind of who they cater to, holla at my folks at bvmobileapps.com and tell them that the Doug Stewart Show sent you. All right? So the NFL, and this whole thing is very weird to me, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I'm going to kind of break it down, the issues I have with this whole story. Here's one part of it. The NFL said the New England Patriots can reinstate 2 employees at the center of what a league investigation found out was a scheme to use improperly inflated footballs in the AFC Championship game. Equipment assistant John Jastremsk and officials locker room attendant Jim McNally were reinstated Wednesday after the team requested they be allowed to return. Now, a couple of issues with this whole story once again. Number one, the NFL said, the way this story reads is the NFL said the New England Patriots can reinstate the 2 employees. First of all, we just saw or heard the comments from Commissioner Roger Goodell. He said it a couple of weeks ago when this whole thing came to a head, that the NFL never told the New England Patriots to suspend these 2 guys. Okay? But then the Patriots say that the NFL did tell them to suspend the guys. So the NFL will have you to believe that the Patriots suspended Jastremsk and McNally on their own. Okay, let's back up a little bit more even about that. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. If the Patriots didn't do anything and the balls weren't deflated, why? Let's go to the belief that the Patriots did do this. Why would the Patriots suspend guys when there was nothing wrong with the footballs, that they didn't do anything wrong? Okay? These are their guys. If they didn't deflate the footballs, we're trying to understand, whether balls were deflated or not. And clearly, if the Patriots on their own volition suspended these guys, they think that the footballs were deflated and that they did it. Okay? And then on top of that, if you're the league, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, if you're the league, why would you allow these guys, or why would you say to the New England Patriots on today, go ahead and reinstate them? Even though that you were about to suspend Tom Brady for 4 games for deflating the footballs, we assume you being responsible for deflating the footballs. Why would you tell the Patriots to go ahead and let back these guys onto the team and back in the league per se, to when you know that they did something nefarious? The whole thing doesn't make sense at all. Like, it doesn't add up. The entire thing does not add up. If you're assuming, and I guess what they're saying, you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, I know this is kind of confusing. If you're saying that clearly something was done with these footballs, and I guess to a degree you're saying that Tom Brady, and the fact that the suspension was nullified, you're saying that Tom Brady didn't do it, or we can't prove that Tom Brady did it. So who did it? The equipment managers. Well, go ahead and let him back in the game of football. Let him back on the team. That doesn't make sense at all. If you did something that nefarious, you should lose your job. You should not get your job back. That shouldn't be an option. So the whole thing stinks to high heaven, man. It absolutely stinks. It makes no sense at all. And I've said it from day one, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I've said it from day one. The day that these guys decide that they can make so much money, or this amount of money, or that amount of money in writing a tell-all book, it will be the greatest tell-all book in the history of this country. Because of the exposure, because of the media coverage of this thing, man, if these guys just go rogue, because I don't know who's paid them, I don't know if Bob Kraft paid them, and I'm speculating right now, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I don't know if Bob Kraft got a series of payments that they're paying these dudes under the table, whether Tom Brady did it or whether the Patriots fan club did it. But somebody got to these guys and told these guys to keep their mouth shut. Okay? Because clearly they did it. All right? So right now they're probably heroes in Boston. They're probably Patriot heroes. At some point, though, maybe it's not this year, maybe not next year, maybe not in 5 years, but 10 years from now, these cats are going to come clean about really what went down. Not just what went down with this Deflategate thing, but somebody's going to offer them enough money. Some publishing company out there is going to offer them enough money to come clean about the cheating-ass Patriots and the culture in that locker room for the last 10, 15 years. Book it! Book it! I am telling you, book it. It's going to happen because it's going to be too much money thrown their way. There's going to be too much money thrown their way, and they're going to have to take it. They're going to have to come clean, and it's going to be salacious. It's going to be salacious. Probably Deflategate is probably even worse than we thought. It's bad. It's bad as hell with all the news that came out last week in the new investigation from the Puppet Factory. It's bad. But it's probably even worse than that. There's probably a lot of other things that we don't even know about, that we didn't even consider, that these guys have been witness to and that are going to come clean about. I can't wait. All right, when we get back from the Doug Stewart Show, man, what I'm going to do is just read some of your chat, get some of your thoughts on T.O. whooping much ass. And also this latest story on the Patriots. I guess it's not really a story. I just want to get your opinions on that, man. The whole thing doesn't make sense to me. All right, we'll do that, as well as the new Hall of Fame nominees in football have just come out. We'll discuss those today as well. Don't go away. Sports Talk, Guy Talk with Hot Sauce. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Let me tell you about Travel by Stats. Travel by Stats delivers premium travel packages and provide excellence by focusing on assuring that their tour itinerary is clear. For destinations they've never taken, they even take the trip in advance of the actual one you're about to take. This ensures everybody has a great experience. They've been around since 1988 and have been operating here in Atlanta since 2000, starting from the ground up, but they now boast of a team operating in 5 states. Travel by Stats not only specializes in Caribbean destinations, they also provide a variety of reasonable, cost-efficient events by land, air, or sea. One of their big things is sports travel for football fanatics who live in Metro Atlanta. That's the fun way to go anyway. Here's some of their upcoming list of events. Giants at Cowboys, Falcons at Giants, Falcons at Cowboys, Cowboys at Saints, Patriots at Cowboys, and many, many more. Contact them at 855-266-6675, extension 700, for the owner, Maritza Wilmer. Again, that's 855-266-6675, extension 700. If you mention my name, Doug Stewart, you'll receive an extra 10% off your package. Travel by Stats. Where they don't sell travel, they sell fun. Do you have your own radio show? Are you an artist or a DJ? BB Mobile Apps is the solution for you. They specialize in creating mobile apps for entertainers. That's right. You can have your own mobile app where your followers can hear your shows or music, watch your videos, and view all your social networks in one place. You can even make money with banner ads and send push notifications directly to your audience to make sure they get your messages. Everyone has their phones on them, right? A mobile app will add credibility to your brand because your content will be accessible to them while they're on the go. BV Mobile Apps also makes apps for bloggers, actors, and producers. The process only takes about 20 minutes. Just go to bbmobileapps.com and click Get Started Now. That's bbmobileapps.com and tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you.
We're back. Dogs and Poodles. It's Doug and Ryan Stewart of the 2 Live Stews.
Tune in to Talk Radio 640 WGST every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. to get all your college and pro football talk.
Special thanks to our sponsor, Bruce Hagen, Hagen-Law.com. Thanks, Bruce.
Meet me at the club. It's going down. Meet me in the A. It's going down. Meet me in Atlanta. That's right. The weekend of September 26, 2015, we are celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the Doug Stewart Show, Stewies. And it's going to be crazy. We got a whole list of events scheduled for the entire weekend. That's going to be so fun. Come celebrate with your boy. Starting out Friday night, man, with a meet and greet party at the Artist Den downtown ATL. Late Friday night, it's the Fellas Soiree at T's Gentlemen's Club in Buckhead. Saturday morning, the TDSS Golf Shootout at North Fulton Golf Club downtown ATL. Saturday night, the main event, the all-black party at the Doubletree Hotel in Buckhead. And Sunday, the Falcons versus Cowboys viewing/day party on the rooftop lounge at Mardi Gras Cafe, downtown ATL. It's going to be fantastic, man. You've been looking for a reason to come to Atlanta. Here's your perfect reason. Get all the details at tdssweekend.eventbrite.com. Once again, it's tdssweekend.eventbrite.com. See you in Atlanta. The 1-year anniversary of the Doug Stewart Show. Yes! Yes, sir. Ain't nothing but a gangster party. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Throwback Thursday. Thank you for joining your boy. Shouts out to all of the Stewies. I'm going to get to some of the chat here in a second, man. Some of your thoughts on the early things that we talked about. The number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Hey, man, don't forget, next weekend is coming up. It's coming up next weekend, the weekend of September 26th, man. Dang, that came up quick, didn't it? The 1-year anniversary of the Doug Stewart Show. The actual anniversary is the 22nd, so we'll definitely mention that, man. But the Doug Stewart Show weekend, TDSS weekend is coming up, and make sure you're in the ATL. If you're in Metro Atlanta, get your tickets right now for the all-black party. I'm telling you. As a matter of fact, and we discussed this earlier, if you're listening to the show right now, tomorrow, I think that we're going to do something to kind of like say thank you to listeners to the Doug Stewart Show. As far as the cost for the all-black party, we're still trying to figure out exactly what that's going to be or exactly what it is. Once again, I've said it from the very beginning, this isn't nothing where we're trying to get rich or anything like that. We just want to celebrate. And so maybe we're going to try to figure something out, maybe with a promo code or whatever to get a little deal. Maybe you can bring your boo with you for the couples. Maybe we'll do something just for the couples. And I'm getting a thumbs up from Larry, who walked by just now. So maybe we'll do that. But listen, make sure and make plans to be in town next weekend. The meet and greet party that Friday night, late Friday night, gentleman's soiree at T's Gentlemen's Club. Saturday night, the big shebang, once again, the all-black party. And then Sunday, man, an absolutely free event. And we only got a couple more spots for this. I got to go back and check and see how many people have already reserved their spot for the Falcons-Cowboys viewing party. We're only going to let 150 people in that, and we got to be close to that. We got a ton of people that actually reserved their spot for that. That Sunday is the Falcons-Cowboys viewing party at Mardi Gras Lounge and Cafe in ATL. So it's going to be crazy. Get all the details at tdssweekend.eventbrite.com. You also need to make sure and get your tickets for that Friday night for the meet and greet, man, because that place isn't super huge either. It's real sexy. It's real cool. Trust me, you're going to really like it. But the tickets for that are only $10, so make sure and get those definitely as soon as you can, all right? 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let me read some of this chat here, man, talking about the Terrell Owens fighting dudes in the street story. Guy called him a spear chucker and Sambo and all kind of stuff. It's crazy. Also, we were talking a little bit about the Patriots equipment managers. They're getting their jobs back. And the whole thing just doesn't make sense to me because the reason why they were suspended, whether it was by the team or by the league, is because everybody, even though they may not have had proof, they had the videotape of the dudes going in there for like a minute, taking the footballs in the bathroom for like a minute. No one has proof, but clearly they're the ones that were the deflators. Who told them to do it or not is another question. But clearly they were the ones to do it. So if they did something that caused one of the biggest, spectacle stories in the history of the NFL to be on the front page and be talked about for 7-8 months, how do you get your job back? I mean, clearly somebody did it. Everybody in America is assuming you did it. You shouldn't get your job back, right? You caused one of the biggest scandals once again. You caused probably one of the biggest black eyes, not only on the Patriots, but the NFL in history. How's it an option that you get your job back? So getting some thoughts on that as well. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. My man K3000 with another book here. Shouts out to you, K3000. That's my folk. From K3000, it says, "Shit, a UVA junior called me the N-word." Speaking of which, and I've told this story before, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I'm trying to remember the exact events of the story. So Ryan was Ryan was a senior in college or senior in high school. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Ryan was a senior in high school. So this was 1990, the year I pledged in the frat, South Carolina State University. But Ryan was trying to decide where he was going to go to school at. So you remember in 1990, that's when Virginia had that great football team. What was it? Sean Moore was the wide receiver, and the quarterback was Sean something. I can't remember his name or whatever. But Virginia was in the running to play for a national championship. So that was one of his official visits. And so to the University of Virginia. And so Virginia was playing Georgia Tech, and I remember this. So I actually went with the family, came home that weekend or whatever. Evidently, we didn't have anything to do. And so we went to Charlottesburg, Virginia and Georgia Tech, and the game was over, and we were going into the dining hall or whatever, or into a restaurant. That's what it was, into a restaurant. And same kind of story I told you earlier. And I don't want to use the whole show to talk about being called the N-word. Same kind of story I told you about earlier. So we're walking into the restaurant. We passed like 3 people. It was 2 dudes and 1 girl. And once again, this is crazy. This has happened. So yeah, this happened before the story I told you about in Pensacola. So we're walking into this restaurant. It was an Applebee's or something like that. And as we passed this group of people, it was 2 dudes, 1 girl. We get almost inside, and the girl in the group, once again, why is it always the girl? The girl in the group turns around and screams out, "Effing N-words!" What? Yes. So my old man, you think I'm militant. My old man just immediately turned around and started heading towards them. And my mother grabbed him by the arm. No, Stu. I can hear my mother right now. No, Stu. No. They used to call my old man Stu, too. So my old man was Stu. My uncles are Stu. My brother was Stu. And I'm Stu. And so, yeah. And then it was like it came from nowhere. The same story that happened to me, I told you about, that happened subsequently a couple of years later. And all of this is tied to Terrell Owens thing. The guy calling Terrell Owens a bunch of names if you're just joining us. And, the exact same scenario as when I was in Pensacola, Florida in 1994. This happened in 1990. It was an 89. It's probably the 89. So it was 89-90 year. And 90 was the year Georgia Tech went on to win the national championship. And it was a fantastic game. I'll never forget it. It was Georgia Tech and Virginia. I also remember another interesting story about that is sitting right by us was Jesse Jackson. Because Jesse Jackson had a son, I can't remember his name, but he had a son that was a beast of a linebacker from Virginia. And so Jesse Jackson was sitting right by us. You know he's our homeboy. Jesse Jackson's from Greenville, South Carolina. So I remember just talking to Jesse Jackson and watching his son. Maybe his son's name was I don't remember. I'm not going to even try. Don't get me the line. But it was a very interesting thing. And you remember, that was the year Georgia Tech won the national championship. There was a lot riding on that game. It was a lot of emotions. It was a fantastic game. Georgia Tech, eked it out at the end. And you know that. Did they win that game, or did they tie that game? Because Georgia Tech had one tie that year. It might have been the tie game. I'm not sure. I have to go back and look at their record from 1990. But they went on to win or tie for the national championship that year. No, Georgia Tech didn't have a loss. Colorado had a loss. And you'll listen to the Doug Stewart Show. All of this stuff is coming back. Now, I took a lot of hits to the head, so a lot of times it's kind of fuzzy. So, yeah, Colorado had the one tie. Georgia Tech went undefeated that year, but the writers still gave it a split national championship to Georgia Tech and Colorado. But that game came down to the very wire between Virginia and Georgia Tech, man. And I think Ryan ultimately decided to go to Georgia Tech from that game. Big-time atmosphere. Georgia Tech won the national championship, so that was crazy. And I didn't even get to read my man K3000's text, which brought up all of this conversation. But he says, a UVA junior called me the N-word one time, because I asked him to clarify. And by the time that N extended his mouth, he was inhaling a left jab. He swung widely. I slipped that, feinted all twice, and boom, boom, bap. Right hook to the dome, left hook to the body. What? Left hook to the dome, right hook to the body. Are you freaking Mike Tyson K3000? Huh? Finished his ass off with a right uppercut. Crack. I don't understand. I don't condone violence at all, but I do correct ignorance by all means necessary. For visual, I'm 5'8" and 3/4. Dude is about 6'3.5", UVA football player. Wow, that is ironic based on the story I just told. So what is it? Is there something going on in Virginia? Because remember I said earlier, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Remember I said earlier I had never been called that before in my life in the story that happened in Pensacola. Now, from South Carolina. And you know what everybody thinks about South Carolina, obviously, based on the whole rebel flag thing and all of that stuff, and what went down in Charleston, you would think that there's probably been race tensions my entire life. But no, I had never been called that word before in my life until what happened in Florida in 1994. But I actually forgot what happened in 1990. But that was more so directed at my whole family, not just me. Yes, sir. Yeah. But all of these are true stories, Shawty. All of these are true stories. So what is it about Charlottesburg, Virginia? I'm assuming that's where it happened at. Yeah, at UVA. And that's in Charlottesburg, Virginia. Or Charlottesville. Is it Charlottesville? Yeah. What is it about UVA. That's a crazy coinkydink right there. Crazy. All right, when we get back from the show, man, I promise you we won't tell any more stories today unless a good one comes up. Don't go away, the Doug Stewart Show. Football season only just begun, but it already feels like the playoffs at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site, where millionaires are being crowned all season long. One-week fantasy at DraftKings means no season-long commitments. It's fantasy football on demand. Play where you want, when you want, with the players you want. And with $1 million up for grabs every week, every game is the big game, and every play matters. So, 1st and 10 in the first quarter feels like 4th and goal with 1 second left. And a long touchdown run can mean more than just a victory for your favorite team. It can mean you've just turned your love of football into $1 million payday. This isn't fantasy as usual. This is DraftKings. Welcome to the big time. Hurry to DraftKings.com now and use promo code Spreaker to play for free for a shot at $1 million in this week's Millionaire Maker event. Enter Spreaker for free entry now, only at DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com, that's DraftKings.com.
The best of the Doug Stewart Show.
To give you the history on this Doug Stewart and Tree Taylor battle in Trivia Crack. We just started playing last week. We played 3 games. I won the first one in handily fashion. And then Tree has come along to beat me 2 times in a row. All right, now I blame Trivia Crack for asking me dumbass questions about romance comedies from the 1980s. That's who I blame. But she's won, and I got to give her credit. What? I knew you were going to jump.
Like, when you talk about women, Tree has come along.
It ain't got nothing to do with you being a woman.
I showed up.
Oh, wait, did you just, what? Oh, my gosh. Did she just call me the N-word? Oh, damn. We made Doug Stewart Show history just now. As many times as I've almost uttered that term, you did it! And we don't have 7-second delay.
I'm fired.
You getting the BPA. You nominated for a Boiled Penis Award.
No.
Yes, you are. The first time in the Doug Stewart Show history, someone utters the N-word.
I'm sick of you.
You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Good thing we, on radio, traditional radio, the FCC be beating down my damn door right now. They're already looking for a reason to try to put me out of business. And you come up with this. Golly, True. You're better than that.
That girl is poison. You never trust a big button to smile.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets, with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
Stewies, what's up? Tree here to talk about your home security and the security experts at Strickland Security. Everything the team at Strickland Security does is focused around increasing the security of your home, protecting your family, and your business. Most home security companies, especially the larger ones, want to sell you a cookie-cutter alarm system that maximizes their profits, but not your security. The team at Strickland Security will install a customized alarm system that meets your budget and your security needs. This Atlanta-based company is here to solve all of your security problems. Whether you need your alarm system repaired, surveillance cameras installed, or your door locks replaced, Strickland Security is the solution. Don't wait. Call the experts at Strickland Security today. For more information, go to their website at stricklandsecurity.com or Give them a call now at 800-422-9075. That's 800-422-9075 and tell them Tree sent you.
See, a day like today is why we really need a third hour on the Doug Stewart Show. And these type of conversations, a lot of times, are the best. They're even better than the sports stories. That's why we have made a conscious effort to mix in a lot of just casual, everyday dude talk. You know, like you at a barbershop. These are conversations like you have at the barbershop or under a shade tree or something like that, or in your boy's basement or whatever. I've been talking about this Terrell Owens thing, and it kind of spurred conversation about some other incidents that have happened in my life, others that have happened that were kind of reminiscent of what happened with Terrell Owens in California, I guess in the last couple of days. And I see a lot of people commenting about it. I mentioned something about a story that I had very similar to what happened to my man K3000 in Virginia. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. And I see a lot of people commenting. My man Ghost Dog, what up, Ghost Dog? He says, I went to medical school at UVA at the time Doug Wilder was governor. Speaking of which, Douglas Wilder, I believe the stat is the first black governor in this country who was also a Q. I think he was elected during that time. So I pledged frat in spring 90. I mentioned that story had happened and had to have been late 89 to 89, 90 season. So you're probably talking about October or something like that. We went to the game in Virginia, Georgia Tech in Virginia, as a family. I had just transferred to state, so I had to sit out a year from playing football. So I didn't actually get with the football team till the spring of 90, and that's also the same year that I pledged. All of that ties into Doug Wilder. We had to learn everything in when we were online about every famous Q in America. Ghost Dog says they posted a sign on campus that said, "Welcome to Virginia, where our peanuts are bigger and our governor's a..." What? True story. He says true story. Where our peanuts are bigger and our governor's a N-word. Wow. And I said in the last segment, man, is there something about Virginia I don't know? My man Clay Davis, Sheed advisor, he says, isn't UVA founded by Thomas Jefferson, the child molester? I don't know that story. And I don't mean all Virginia. I haven't been to all parts of Virginia, but I know that's strange. It's a strange coincidence that K3000 told that story about how someone called him out of his name in public, and he had to put them paws on him. And then my man Ghost Dog tells this story, and I told my story. What's going on in Charlottesville, Virginia? I think it is Charlottesville. I didn't even look it up during the break. Crazy, man, crazy. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. From Chucktown Frank, man, Dougie, Virginia is the original good old South. All the ish with black folks begin there. I guess so. From Ronald Cameron Clay, I told him I was headed to his mama's house to get a quickie. His face turned beet red, too. I guess Ronald Cameron's got some type of story, and he had to throw them hands, and he told a guy in response, I'm going to do it with your mama. How about that? I get it. And that's probably coming up at some point here in the chat. From K3000, Herman Moore, Doug. I used to play ball. That's his name, Herman. Well, Herman Moore, I knew Herman Moore, but when you say that, and I see it right here in print, I remember the quarterback's name now, too. The quarterback's name was Sean Moore. But K3000 says, Herman Moore, Doug, I used to play ball against that fool at the Dell courts. That fool could jump out of the gym, believe it. Yeah, and you know, Herman Moore played wide receiver for the Lions during the little time that Ryan had there. It wasn't a little time. Ryan played for the Lions for 5 years. So, yeah, I've met Herman Moore before. Fantastic wide receiver in the NFL. They didn't like him, though. Herman Moore, the players on the street, word on the street was the players, Herman Moore was an a-hole. Yeah, Herman Moore was an a-hole. I think Ryan's actually have said that on the show before on the show before as well on the Two Live Stews, that Herman Moore really wasn't a locker room type guy. They really didn't like the guy. He was a me first guy, and he just rubbed people the wrong way on the team. Andre Elon, Picola Clay, honestly, I almost called out of work, and I was going to get me a 12-pack and sit on the park until he got off work, and I was going to stump that ass into the ground. Real talk. Yeah, we've all got these stories similar to what happened with Terrell Owens and the dude. And if you can see the video, you'll see that the guy was really just spreading his feathers like a peacock. He really didn't want none of Terrell Owens. That was the defense mechanism. Terrell Owens took a step forward. He took a step back. Terrell Owens took 2 steps forward. He took 2 steps back. Terrell took 2 steps back. The guy took 2 steps forward. Punk ass. From Cleo to 72, the best thing about 911 is that people, or 9/11, is that people hate shifted to another race, but 9/12, they were back at it. Yeah. Sad but true. Ronald Cameron, I said to your mama's house to get a quickie. More of that conversation. Here's the story, I guess, from Ronald Cameron. A long time ago, I was working with a racist, and as we was walking out of the room, he said, "Where you going, N-word?" Wow. Damn. And that's when Ronald Cameron says, "I'm going to your house to get a quickie with your mama." I get it now. And the whole thing comes back around. You're listening to The Doug Stewart Show, 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Do you have a group that you're trying to take and find a good coach service to take your group to an NFL game? Holla at my folks at Travel by Stats. They're some of the best in the business of doing it. Their business stretches out over 5 states. They've been doing it since 1998. If it's a trip that they've never been to, they'll actually take the trip first before you do, so that everything is good, so you won't have any issues at all. Okay, real great people to work with. The owner, Maritza Wilmer, will actually take your call. Give her a call at 855-266-6675, extension 700. Again, that's 855-266-6675, whether that's your church group, whether that's the Boy Scouts that you're kind of like the scout master over, football team, Little League football team, whatever it is, man. Traveling to games on coach service, man, is fantastic. It's fun. You get to do it with your people who have a like ideal in the same team. So holler at my folks at Travel by Stats. And you can look at them, get all the information at travelbystats.com, or give them a call at 855-266-6675, extension 700. Yeah. And you're listening to The Doug Stewart Show. From K3000, Dougie, Hush Money, Maine. The screenshot is mug. The equipment manager's got 400 screenshots of Brady telling them to hide any text messages about DeleteGate. Laugh out loud. You know they got the security locked away in a deposit box. Like, I'm almost, and I guess I watch too much TV, and he's talking about the whole McNally, Jastremsk thing, the managers for the Patriots. I almost can see a scenario. You talking about Boston? And I mentioned it yesterday how Ray Donovan, he's from his family, him and his daddy, Mickey, they're from Boston. And, there's been several, like, mob movies of, Boston, the Boston underworld. Like, I almost could see these guys turned up missing. I'm serious. And maybe I watch too much TV and I watch too many movies or whatever. But the information, like my man K3000 says, these guys hold the key to not just to some of the rumors about what's been going on with the New England Patriots. They hold a key, and they probably got proof galore that could expose this organization. And I'm talking about not just in a little way, but in a big-ass way. A Shirley from what's happening big-ass way. Okay? They probably have all that information. I wouldn't be surprised if they just got lost, if they just were, just vanished from the earth. Right now, they're the heroes in Boston. But you got to believe, man, if news ever got out that a book was about to come down and they were the authors and they were, contributing all this information, man, I could see them cats wearing cement boots. I really could. And maybe that's just the conspiracy ninja in me. And once again, I've watched a lot of TV and movies and I've seen these things played out. But this is a big-ass story, man. This is a huge story when you think about it. It's huge. I buy the book. And I ain't bought a book since Curious George. I'm just joking about that. But almost. I would buy the book. And yeah, man, great chat today, man. And I hate it when we don't have everything set up where I can't read a ton of it. Tree's not here today. We need to get some more interns. We got to do that. Because I won't have the ability to read a ton of the chat today. I'm going to try to keep reading some of it, though, throughout today's episode. When we get back, man, it'll be hour number 2 already. And I want to talk to y'all about the prospective Hall of Famers, Terrell Owens included. Talking all T.O. today, I guess. So when we get back, we'll talk about the new nominees for the NFL, or the football. It's not NFL. The Football Hall of Fame. Don't go away. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Let me tell you about Travel by Stats. Travel by Stats delivers premium travel packages and provide excellence by focusing on assuring that their tour itinerary is clear. For destinations they've never taken, they even take the trip in advance of the actual one you're about to take. This ensures everybody has a great experience. They've been around since 1988 and have been operating here in Atlanta since 2000, starting from the ground up, but they now boast of a team operating in 5 states. Travel by Stats not only specializes in Caribbean destinations, they also provide a variety of reasonable, cost-efficient events by land, air, or sea. One of their big things is sports travel for football fanatics who live in Metro Atlanta. That's the fun way to go anyway. Here's some of their upcoming list of events. Giants at Cowboys, Falcons at Giants, Falcons at Cowboys, Cowboys at Saints, Patriots at Cowboys, and many, many more. Contact them at 855-266-6675, extension 700, for the owner, Maritza Wilmer. Again, that's 855-266-6675, extension 700. If you mention my name, Doug Stewart, you'll receive an extra 10% off your package. Travel by Stats. Where they don't sell travel, they sell fun. Meet me at the club. It's going down. Meet me in the A. It's going down. Meet me in Atlanta. That's right. The weekend of September 26, 2015, we are celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the Doug Stewart Show, Stewies. And it's going to be crazy. We got a whole list of events scheduled for the entire weekend. That's going to be so fun. Come celebrate with your boy. Starting out Friday night, man, with a meet and greet party at the Artist Den downtown ATL. Late Friday night, it's the Fella Soiree at T's Gentlemen's Club in Buckhead. Saturday morning, the TDSS Golf Shootout at North Fulton Golf Club downtown ATL. Saturday night, the main event, the all-black party at the Doubletree Hotel in Buckhead. And Sunday, the Falcons versus Cowboys viewing/day party on the rooftop lounge at Mardi Gras Cafe, downtown ATL. It's going to be fantastic, man. You've been looking for a reason to come to Atlanta. Here's your perfect reason. Get all the details at tdssweekend.eventbrite.com. Once again, it's tdssweekend.eventbrite.com. See you in Atlanta. The 1-year anniversary of the Doug Stewart Show. Yes! Yes, sir. We're back. The 2 Live Stews are back on air every Saturday morning on WGST at 11 a.m.
It's Sports Talk with Hot Sauce. Special thanks to our sponsor, Bruce Hagen, Hagen-Law.com, for making it happen. Thanks, Bruce. You're the man, the people's lawyer.
Do you have your own radio show? Are you an artist or a DJ? BB Mobile Apps is the solution for you. They specialize in creating mobile apps for entertainers. That's right. You can have your own mobile app where your followers can hear your shows or music, watch your videos, and view all your social networks in one place. You can even make money with banner ads and send push notifications directly to your audience to make sure they get your messages. Everyone has their phones on them, right? A mobile app will add credibility to your brand because your content will be accessible to them while they're on the go. BV Mobile Apps also makes apps for bloggers, actors, and producers. The process only takes about 20 minutes. Just go to bvmobileapps.com and click Get Started Now. That's bvmobileapps.com and tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you. Hour number 2, Shawty. Yes, sir. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Throwback Thursday. Shouts out to all of the Stewies, everybody in the chat room, man, being totally interactive. Really do appreciate it. Hey, I need y'all to pass the word. Continue to pass the word and tell people about the show, man. We are creeping up on 10,000 followers to the Doug Stewart Show, man. We are creeping up on that 10,000 mark as far as followers. I mean, that's huge. I can't even start to try to explain to you how big that is in the realm of online radio and podcasting, that we got 10,000 people that at one point hit the little follow button, okay? We have much less than 10,000 people listen daily, but at some point, 10,000 people hit the follow mark, and whenever there's a big story, ultimately our numbers go up that day. When there's not that much stuff going on in the world of sports, then less people listen. But we consistently have around 2,000 people that listen to this show daily. But we have over 10,000 followers. So sometimes we'll have many more than that. That's big. That's like orca big in this world, in this medium of podcast and online radio. Once again, I mentioned this yesterday, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. People are just creatures of habit. So they're used to listening to terrestrial radio. When they get into their car, they turn the radio on. That's it. And most people don't even listen to the radio at their home. It's about, when they get in the car, they turn the radio on, and that's the routine. So learning and understanding that it's easy, very easy to tune into a more diverse platform of radio listening online is easy as pie. It's hard to get across to people, man. So bottom line is thank you so much for supporting the show, man. Continue to tell people we're trying to reach 10,000 by the anniversary, which is September 22nd. Well over 200,000 listens, man. Thank you so much for supporting the Doug Stewart Show. And I think you just like real radio. So it works. It ain't like you ain't getting the service. You're not getting a good product. You're getting a good-ass product. You are. Speaking of which, man, we're doing a ton of great things on Fiverr.com. All right, that's Fiverr, Fiverr.com. We're actually selling 60-second spots on the show for starting at $5. That's obviously what it's all based around. Everything's $5. But we even do more than that, and we do bigger gigs, which means that we'll also promote you on our social networks. We'll do voiceovers, and the big thing, man, if you've got a podcast, your podcast is live, but you don't have a lot of people that know about it. Once again, it's hard to get people to listen online. We got listeners. We will broadcast your show on the network, the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. So hit me up on Fiverr.com. Just search the Doug Stewart Show, and it'll pop right up, and you get all of the details. All right, 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Brett Favre is back in the news. Favre was among the 108 modern-day nominees for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2016 that was announced last night. He's the career leader in football, leader in nearly every passing category when he retired in 2010. He won a Super Bowl in 1997 with the Green Bay Packers. So he's going to get in definitely first ballot. I mean, they love Brett Favre. There's a love affair with Brett Favre in the media that's just unmatched. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. So Brett Favre's going to get in. And even though I'm very critical of Brett Favre, I think he gets too much love. I'm not saying he's not a Hall of Fame. He's definitely a Hall of Famer. One of the best to do it. I remember when the Packers came to Atlanta and played the Falcons many years ago. I was at the game live, and I to understand the velocity the ball comes out of Brett Favre's hand, man, is I can't even explain it. Like, he has a cannon. You can't really tell online or watching a game on TV. I don't think. When you see that dude live, the dude had a cannon on his shoulder. No lie about it. So he's definitely a Hall of Famer. And also Terrell Owens is on the list. Now, T.O.'s not going to get in first ballot. He's definitely not going to get in first ballot. But Terrell Owens is a Hall of Famer. One of the best receivers to do it of all time. And just say the name T.O. T.O. sounds like a Hall of Famer. I always tell people, when you say the name, do you think Hall of Famer? You think Terrell Owens, you think Hall of Famer. One of the best wide receivers to ever play the game physically. Just phenomenal. Didn't win a Super Bowl. Went to a Super Bowl with the Eagles. But when you talk about top receivers of all times, he had everything. Size, speed, skill, could catch the ball in traffic. So T.O.'s definitely going to get in, but not going to get in this year. And also Alan Faneca, Offensive lineman. I always tell people and say it's hard to quantify offensive lineman in my mind, but evidently he was a 6-time All-Pro, which actually being an All-Pro is bigger than being a Pro Bowler. Played for 13 seasons, so he's going to get in. I don't know at what point he will. Let's see. Other first-year eligible nominees are safety Lawyer Malloy. I love Lawyer Malloy. He actually came out the same draft as Ryan did. He was the first safety taken out when they came out. I think that was in 1995. Lawyer Malloy, fantastic player. Played his college ball at where? At Washington for the Huskies. Fantastic player. Played on a couple Super Bowl teams for the Patriots. But Lawyer Malloy, I don't think he's going to get in the Hall of Fame. You know, it's hard to get into the Hall of Fame as a safety, especially. What's his name? Steve Atwater still trying to get in the Hall of Fame. You can't put Lawyer Malloy in the Hall of Fame and Steve Atwater ain't in. So he's not going to get in, I don't think, ever. Brian Westbrook, running back from the Philadelphia Eagles. Hell to the no. Brian Westbrook's not going to no damn Hall of Fame. He was very good. Solid as hell. I mean, very good. But once again, it's the Hall of Fame, not the Hall of Very Good. So he's not going to get in. Clinton Portis, love him, from the U, but he damn sure ain't going to no Hall of Fame. No way possible. I don't see that happening. And kicker John Carney and linebackers Keith Bullock and Mike Vrabel. Vrabel played for the Patriots for many years, so he might get in. I don't know. I don't know how you see, and here's the whole problem, and I say it all the time. You listen to the Doug Stewart Show. How do you put Mike Vrabel in the same Hall of Fame with Lawrence Taylor and Ray Lewis? You know, that don't make sense. I mean, really, think about that. Mike Vrabel was good, but you're going to put him in the same Hall of Fame with Lawrence Taylor and Ray Lewis and Mike Singletary? No. Hell to the no. You can't do that. You can't do that, man. Let's see. Finalists from 2015 that are on the ballot, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Morton Anderson. If you're going to put a kicker in, I think you should put Morton Anderson in. So Morton Anderson, his cousin Gary Anderson. If you're thinking about kickers, yeah, I guess. You know, I'm not a fan of kickers in general. Don Coryell, I think Don Coryell should have been in. Air Coryell, architect of that high-powered offense for the San Diego Chargers back in the day with Dan Fouts and those guys. I think Don Coryell should be in for his input to the game. In offense, high-powered offense. Everybody doing what the Chargers did back 30 years ago. Everybody's doing now what Don Coryell and Air Coryell did 30 years ago. Don Coryell should be in. Tony Dungy. I think Tony Dungy's greatest claim to fame as far as a coach in football, damn it, we up to a break already, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I think his biggest claim to fame, even though he didn't win the Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, his biggest claim to fame is turning around that organization and the players that they drafted during that run when he was the head coach. That's big. I mean, the Bucs were probably the worst franchise in sports. They were a laughingstock for many, many years, and Tony Dungy turned their fortunes around completely, 180 degrees. So I think Dungy should get in. I don't know if he'll get in. I don't think he didn't get in last year. I don't know if he'll get in this year. I think Dungy will get in at some point. Jimmy Johnson, 2 Super Bowls, should have won a third, would have won a third if he didn't get fired. He gets in. I don't know if he gets in this year, but he gets in ultimately. Kevin Green. Nah, I can't see Kevin Green as a Hall of Famer. Defensive end, great player, but I don't, once again, you putting Kevin Green in the same Hall of Fame in the same damn wing as Lawrence Taylor? He was a beast. He had a lot of numbers. I don't know. And Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison's going to get in. Probably won't because of all of the controversy surrounding him and supposedly killing people in cold blood, 2 guns and all of that stuff. He'll get in at some point, but maybe not this year. Maybe he'll miss it this year. John Lynch, Orlando Pace, and quarterback Kurt Warner. Don't think Kurt Warner. He just did it for so short of a time. Now he was actually consistent for many years in playing for the Giants and playing for the Cardinals. He actually did some big things. He took the Cardinals to the Super Bowl. I don't know, man. He just did it. His star was so bright and went out so quickly. I don't know about Kurt Warner. I really am non-committal on Kurt Warner being a Hall of Famer because, man, he actually had a great story, packing groceries to winning a Super Bowl all in 1 year. That's a great story. Kurt Warner, I don't know. I don't know about Kurt Warner. Haven't really made the thought. I would tend to say no, but he does have an impressive record, albeit very short. I just don't know about Kurt Warner. All right, when we get back from the break, man, all I'm going to do is read some of your chat, man, and there is a ton of it. Thank you so much for joining me on the Doug Stewart Show. Don't go away. Football season only just begun, but it already feels like the playoffs at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site, where millionaires are being crowned all season long. One-week fantasy at DraftKings means no season-long commitments. It's fantasy football on demand. Play where you want, when you want, with the players you want. And with $1 million up for grabs every week, every game is the big game, and every play matters. So, 1st and 10 in the first quarter feels like 4th and goal with 1 second left. And a long touchdown run can mean more than just a victory for your favorite team. It can mean you've just turned your love of football into $1 million payday. This isn't fantasy as usual. This is DraftKings. Welcome to the big time. Hurry to DraftKings.com now and use promo code Spreaker to play for free for a shot at $1 million in this week's Millionaire Maker event. Enter Spreaker for free entry now, only at DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com, that's DraftKings.com.
The Doug Stewart Show presents another episode of Stories with Uncle Dougie, straight out of Monk's Corner edition.
So my best friend, man, Bubba, he gets on the bus, and he sits down, and he's, like, distraught. And I'm like, dude, what's going on? And we're on the bus on the way to school. We're like in 9th, 10th grade, and we're on the bus on the way to school. And he says, my old man, he shot a man last night. I was like, wait a minute. What did you say? And I had heard these stories before, and rest in peace, his daddy's name was Coconut. Coconut was a little guy, probably 5'5", about, 140 pounds. So he's a little dude. And little dudes, man, they don't got the tolerance to wrestle with you or fight or put up their hands or something like that, especially old cats like this where I'm from. He's like, my old man stumbled in 4 o'clock in the morning, and I met him in the hallway because he was extra intoxicated. And he looked at me and said, Bubba, I had to shoot a man tonight. And come to find out more of the story, now keep in mind, this was in 1985 or something like this. Coconut was probably in his late 50s, early 60s. And once again, I told you, the story on the street was that he had done this many times before. Come to find out, Coconut had shot 4, maybe 5 people throughout his life in our little town in Monk's Corner, South Carolina. This is not a lie. And I know this seems like a story from the Andy Griffith Show, from Ernest T. Bass. This is not a lie. In my hometown, you can literally shoot people or shoot at people, connect on their lower extremities 4, 5, 6 times and not go to jail forever.
The Doug Stewart Show.
Let me tell you about Travel by Stats. Travel by Stats delivers premium travel packages and provide excellence by focusing on assuring that their tour itinerary is clear. For destinations they've never taken, they even take the trip in advance of the actual one you're about to take. This ensures everybody has a great experience. They've been around since 1988 and have been operating here in Atlanta since 2000, starting from the ground up, but they now boast of a team operating in 5 states. Travel by Stats not only specializes in Caribbean destinations, they also provide a variety of reasonable, cost-efficient events by land, air, or sea. One of their big things is sports travel for football fanatics who live in Metro Atlanta. That's the fun way to go anyway. Here's some of their upcoming list of events. Giants at Cowboys, Falcons at Giants, Falcons at Cowboys, Cowboys at Saints, Patriots at Cowboys, and many, many more. Contact them at 855-266-6675, extension 700, for the owner, Maritza Wilmer. Again, that's 855-266-6675, extension 700. If you mention my name, Doug Stewart, you'll receive an extra 10% off your package. Travel by Stats. Where they don't sell travel, they sell fun. In a constant battle with weak-ass talk radio, you are locked and listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you so much for joining your boy. So Jesse Jackson's son name was Yusef, and I see a lot of people put it in the chat room. Yeah, Yusef Jackson played linebacker for the Virginia Cavaliers in the early 90s. He was a beast. Speaking of which, they said his daddy was a beast too. They said Jesse would bring the hammer. So Jesse Jackson's, let me see if I can get this correct, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, and I actually pulled up his Wikipedia page here during the break, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Jesse Jackson, out of high school, played quarterback and went to the University of Illinois. So that's the connection between Rainbow Push and Jesse Jackson, you know, the Jackson family living in the Chicago area, I guess. He had some ties in Chicago, so he went back eventually. But he went to the University of Illinois out of high school, which is probably a big time story back during the era when he came out of high school. For a black kid to go that far away from South Carolina to school at a predominantly white school back you know, when I'm going to guess in late 50s. Okay, so it says he graduated in 1959. So he was a quarterback, actually, and I got this firsthand from people from Greenville. He was a quarterback, actually, and so this was a big thing. He went to play football for Illinois, and when he got up there, he didn't like it. He didn't like the racial divide that obviously there probably was back in 1960. And so he transferred to North Carolina A&T. And then maybe when he got to A&T, he figured out that really he wasn't that good of a quarterback. Maybe he was just killing high school kids. And he changed positions to linebacker, but they said Jesse was a hellified. And if you've never met Jesse Jackson, trust me, a lot of people, just like this Terrell Owens thing, people just talking. A lot of people talk about Jesse Jackson, but they don't want to get in no squab with Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson is about 6'2", maybe 6'3". And when I met him back when we were on the yard, he actually did a speech. He's frat, once again, he's a Q. He actually did a speech in the auditorium on campus when I was in school. And, you know, so the bros came up on stage with him after it was over and took pictures with him. And Jesse Jackson, probably 6'3", 6'2", about 225, 230. All right, svelte. Yeah, so he ain't no little dude. You don't want to run him with Jesse Jackson, you know, half-stepping, bottom line. Yeah, that'll you get your ass whooped. This is the Doug Stewart Show. 404-382-0338 is the number. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. This segment is brought to you by my friends at Strickland Security. That's right, man. You live in ATL. You know how it is. Great city, man. But once in a while, there are some issues with crime. If you live in Metro Atlanta and, you know, even if you don't need something big, if you need something simple done, holla at my people at Strickland Security, man. They're going to take care of you. Whether that's just fixing your alarm system that you presently have, get it back up to snuff, whether you just need something basic to protect your family, holla at my folks at Strickland Security. Or they can even sell you the big boy and work with you on the big boy security system where you got cameras, all the bells and whistles. Holla at my folks at Strickland Security at stricklandsecurity.com. Once again, that's stricklandsecurity.com. Or just give them a call at 800-422-9075 and make sure and tell them that the Doug Stewart Show sent you. Let me grab a call, man. Caller, thanks for calling the Doug Stewart Show. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what you want to talk about?
Doug Stewart, what's that?
What's up? Who's this?
T from Huntsville, sir.
T from Huntsville. What up, baby?
Man, just enjoying the show as always, man. Took a little turn, but enjoying the show. I like to continue the theme of the show and tell a few of my little N-word stories, if you don't mind.
Oh, T, I got to hear you being called an N-word story.
Okay, man, in succession. The first time, let's see. Let me make sure I tell that right. Okay, that's wrong. The first time, it was about 2 in the morning, about 1:30 or so. There's about 4 or 5 of us, maybe 6 of us. We're about 12 or 13, and we're walking to Crystals, because they stay open 24/7.
Right.
Now, I know it's 2 in the morning, I'm 13, why am I out? I get it, but let's not go there. So we're walking there, and this car drives by. There's a bunch of little college kids, about 4 of them, they're Anglos, and they drive by and they start screaming, ninja, laughing and stuff, and then they keep it moving. But how about these dumbasses pull up and go to Crystals?
Right.
So we get up to Crystals and we in there. I think one guy we're with, he's feeling a little sick, so he don't want to get involved. But I'm hot, I'm 38 hot, because I was real animated back then. So we're back there, and this and that. They was just, we walked in there, and they're like kind of waving, like, hey, ain't no hey. You know what I'm saying? What's up with what y'all was just saying? This and that, one thing led to another. We got to arguing. We ended up outside. Now, we didn't beat them down, because, these were almost grown men. But
Right.
we had our own against four like, probably 19, 20-year-olds, maybe 21, 22-year-olds, and we were all 13 or 14. It was out there scrapping. We said, well, I'd grab a stick for one dude.
T, let me stop you. You lucky y'all didn't get shot. If y'all were 13 and 14 and you said these were like 19, 20-year-old dudes?
Yeah.
Yeah, you lucky. In Alabama, too? I think you in Alabama. Alabama, you lucky they didn't reach to the back of the window in the back of their truck and pull out a shotgun on y'all ass, bro.
Well, you know what? Looking back on it, you're probably right, but just what I'm thinking about that time. Young, dumb, and full of whatever.
Yeah.
But, man, okay, the second time was in a basketball game my freshman year.
T, hold up a second.
Yeah.
All right. 2 things. First of all, you know good and well I had some hot lead for your ass after you called up here the other day, T. You knew that. You knew that was coming. And second of all, I tell my stories. You can't tell 2 or 3 stories on the Doug Stewart Show about being called N-word. That's enough. All right, 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. I know this is right up your wheelhouse and telling being called an N-word story, your militant self. Yeah, I love you for that. But no, not on this show, bro. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. You can also email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Let me read more of your chat here, man. Thank you so much for the chat. From Cornelius says, Doug, I'm not sold on him either, but NFL teams are still asking Kurt Warner to come out of retirement. Wow, I just talked about Kurt Warner, and I'm just the book is still out for me on should he be a Hall of Famer. I mean, he did some dynamic things. He had a great story as well. You talk about going from ashy to classy. That's Kurt Warner. So actually, it's a great story. And I do think that he was just dominant for a couple of years. Should have won a second Super Bowl, but oh yeah, the Patriots cheated him out of it. But I don't know. Let's see who we got here. From Vince Wright, 2 Guns going to have to wait, but will be in eventually. I agree. I think 2 Chainz or two Guns, that's what we call Marvin Harrison, not the rapper 2 Chainz. I think he's going to get in, but and I guess he's going to get in because of his numbers and because he played with Peyton Manning. And really, there was no real concrete evidence. He wasn't convicted. He wasn't even charged, I don't think, with the murder in Philadelphia, which kind of is like a shroud of controversy over him. I think he's going to get in, but he might not because of that controversy. Because it's kind of like the way it feels to me, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, it kind of feels like everybody believes that he did it. And I don't know, maybe I kind of think based on the story, and I read the story, a long, long article that maybe was in Sports Illustrated or one of those publications. I mean, common sense tells you Marvin Harrison killed dude. But they really have zero proof, no witnesses. But based on the story, if you remember, him and the dude had like this ongoing beef. And these guns were found, and they were Marvin Harrison's guns, and they were special ordered guns, and there's all kind of smoke. There's no fire per se, but there's a lot of smoke. I don't know if he gets in. He should get in. His numbers are just phenomenal, and him and Peyton had that 1-2 punch for many, many years. They were dominant. He's one of the best receivers to ever play the game, but I don't know if he's going to get in. I am not sure about that. All right, I promise when we get back from the break. And you kind of understand how this is the fastest show on turf. When we get back, all I'm going to do is read chat from beginning to end. That's all I'm going to do is read chat, all right? Promise you. Don't go away. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Let me tell you about Travel by Stats. Travel by Stats delivers premium travel packages and provide excellence by focusing on assuring that their tour itinerary is clear. For destinations they've never taken, they even take the trip in advance of the actual one you're about to take. This ensures everybody has a great experience. They've been around since 1988 and have been operating here in Atlanta since 2000, starting from the ground up, but they now boast of a team operating in 5 states. Travel by Stats not only specializes in Caribbean destinations, they also provide a variety of reasonable, cost-efficient events by land, air, or sea. One of their big things is sports travel for football fanatics who live in Metro Atlanta. That's the fun way to go anyway. Here's some of their upcoming list of events. Giants at Cowboys, Falcons at Giants, Falcons at Cowboys, Cowboys at Saints, Patriots at Cowboys, and many, many more. Contact them at 855-266-6675, extension 700, for the owner, Maritza Wilmer. Again, that's 855-266-6675, extension 700. If you mention my name, Doug Stewart, you'll receive an extra 10% off your package. Travel by Stats. Where they don't sell travel, they sell fun. We're back. The Two Live Stews are back on air every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on WGST. It's sports talk with hot sauce. Special thanks to our sponsor, Bruce Hagen at Hagen-Law.com for making it happen.
640 WGST in Atlanta. Search 640 WGST on iHeartRadio worldwide.
Yes! Football season only just begun, but it already feels like the playoffs at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site, where millionaires are being crowned all season long. One-week fantasy at DraftKings means no season-long commitments. It's fantasy football on demand. Play where you want, when you want, with the players you want. And with $1 million up for grabs every week, every game is the big game, and every play matters. So, 1st and 10 in the first quarter feels like 4th and goal with 1 second left. And a long touchdown run can mean more than just a victory for your favorite team. It can mean you've just turned your love of football into $1 million payday. This isn't fantasy as usual. This is DraftKings. Welcome to the big time. Hurry to DraftKings.com now and use promo code Spreaker to play for free for a shot at $1 million in this week's Millionaire Maker event. Enter Spreaker for free entry now, only at DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com, that's DraftKings.com.
Yo, we got a little problem.
Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you for joining your boy. Appreciate it. Don't forget, the Two Live Stews are back Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. on 640 WGST right here in the ATL, as well as on iHeartRadio as well. So you can hear the show all over the place, man. And then obviously Monday through Friday right here on the Doug Stewart Show, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Pass the word. We really would appreciate it. All right? Yeah. Okay, so I just had another text message from somebody I'm working with on the events for next weekend. I am gonna give the listeners to the Doug Stewart Show some type of deal on the All Black Party. Trying to figure out exactly how we're going to do it, but we'll probably do it. I'll probably tell you about it tomorrow, so stay tuned. We're 1 week away from the Doug Stewart Show weekend right here in ATL, celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the show. TDSSweekend.eventbrite.com. Get all the details. So just stay tuned tomorrow, and we'll tell you how we're going to say thank you to the listeners of the Doug Stewart Show from the past year. Let me read more of your chat here from K3000. Dougie, I bet Gruden is a first-round Hall of Famer, so thanks to Tony Dungy, Gruden got Dungy's championship and went from sugar to ish in one damn season, so you know that he wasn't ish as a coach. I'm not going to agree with you 100% on that. I think Gruden's a good coach, but I do agree that Tony Dungy is the one. He's the architect of that team. And I think a lot of people give him credit. I think people do give credit to Tony Dungy. And then he went on and win a Super Bowl in Indianapolis. I think they played in 2 of them, lost the second one. But, Tony Dungy is a bona fide coach from Stagger Lee. Speaking of which, shouts out to you, Stagger Lee. You back, huh, bruh? So Stagger Lee had a medical issue. I actually called him last night. Didn't get an answer. Guess he was resting comfortably at home. But pray for my boy Stagger Lee, man. He had a little bout with a medical issue this past weekend, but I guess he's okay. What up, Stagger? Glad to see you up and running, bro. He says Sterling Sharp should be in the Hall of Fame careers that Brett Favre killed. And for people that don't know, when you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, for people that don't know, Sterling Sharp was that dude. Okay, Sterling Sharp was actually way better. Maybe not way. Well, Shannon played tight end. Sterling played wide receiver. Sterling Sharp was definitely a Hall of Fame type wide receiver before the injury. So I don't know how Brett Favre killed his career. Oh, maybe you're saying that Brett Favre threw a pass across the middle and got him killed and got that neck injury where he had to retire. I don't know exactly what you're saying, bro. But yeah, Sterling Sharp was a beast. Sterling Sharp. Who was the quarterback? Todd Ellis. Sterling played with Todd Ellis, the quarterback at the University of South Carolina. At number 2, Sterling might be one of the earliest guys. Sterling, as well as Garrison Hurst, are probably 2 of the earliest guys I remember. Like, man, them single-digit jerseys look good. Garrison Hurst wore number 5. Sterling Sharp wore number 2 at South Carolina, man. Sterling was a beast in the NFL, and then his career was cut short due to injury. From Andre Elam and Sterling Sharp in the Hall of Fame, yet, nah, he not going to get in. Sterling's been out of football for 20 years. He not going to get in the Hall of Fame. His career was just too short. Kind of like the same reasons why I don't, the reasons why they aren't putting Sterling Sharp in is because, 1, he didn't win a Super Bowl, but 2, he just played, his career was just too short. Same way I feel about Terrell Davis and Kurt Warner. It's just too short to evaluate and say, I think a part of being a Hall of Famer is somewhat longevity. If you're Superman, and we know that your career would project out to be a Hall of Famer if you played so many years, that's one thing. But if you only played 3 years at top level, 2-3 years at top level, longevity is part of it. If you put anybody in that you knew had Hall of Fame talent, but because of injury didn't play that many years, you got to put in Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson ain't in no Hall of Fame. So how you going to put in Terrell Davis and Sterling Sharp? You just can't do it, man. From Andre Elam, Kurt Warner is a Hall of Famer. His ass needs to wait a few more years. Yeah, I'm not sure about Kurt Warner because he did win a Super Bowl. He took him to 2. He was dynamic for a couple of years. But once again, he only did it at a high level for a short period of time. From that ninja, Dungy follows the company line and will get in and they will start or they will shaft T.O. From William Mack, everybody that mentions anything about Marvin come up missing, watch your mouths. Yeah, they say Marvin Harrison. I got one of my line brothers is actually from Philly. And he says, this is how I give you a lot of back page stuff too. He said, man, Marvin Harrison been known on them streets. Like you didn't want to mess with him. That he was very, very known for gunplay. This is no lie. And my boy Guat grew up in Philly, still lives in Philly. He's one of them cats that ain't never going to leave Philly. And he's like, yeah, word on the street is Marvin Harrison, and it was never nothing to be played with. And it's very strange because he's like the quietest guy. He doesn't give you any quotes. Like, can you ever remember Marvin Harrison even talking? Doing any interviews ever? So it's very strange to hear he's just quiet, docile guy, but then he is quick to pull out them 2 guns on your ass. From Jarvis J, Marvin bust that iron on you if you F up. Yeah, so I just talked about. From John the Company Man, if TD isn't in the Hall of Fame, Kurt Warner bet not get in, not until TD is in. Terrell Davis he's talking about. I just talked about that. From the Brother Beloved, Air Coryell is the blueprint for most successful passing games to date. Exactly. I said that earlier. And for people that don't know, new listeners, I tell a story a lot of times. And a lot of times I tell these stories, and I think y'all like the stories. But I got to remember to tell the stories whenever they come up because we got a lot of new listeners. But I actually followed the San Diego Chargers as a kid, much of my youth, because the only player at that time from my hometown that played professional football played for the Chargers. So when I say follow, we didn't actually see them play on TV a lot, but, box scores and tried to find stories and got word from his family how he did that particular week. Once in a while, we saw the Chargers on TV. His name was Clarence Williams. He played running back for the Chargers during that era of Air Coryell. So very familiar with the stats and the big-name players on that team and how they just used to throw the ball all over the place. I mean, it was unique back then. And so what you're talking, late 70s, early 80s? Yeah, man, Air Coryell and the Chargers, man, they were just different to watch because, once again, everybody was running the I formation, and here come the Chargers with Charlie Joyner, John Jefferson, Wes Chandler, Kellen Winslow. They did 4 receivers, back out of the backfield. They had the little running back. I can't remember his name right now. He wore number 21. Ooh, I can't remember his name, but he was like a little scat back where he'd come out of the backfield and catch passes out of the backfield. So they were innovative, man, before 90% of the stuff you see today, this is what the Chargers were doing back in the early 80s. Trust me on that. From Stagger Lee, Marvin Harrison has shot more people than Doug's uncle. I'm telling you. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. From Clay Davis, Sheed advisor, Stringer again, Southern racism is way better than Northern racism. Down South, they tell you how they feel, while up North, they smile in your face and stab you in your back. I've heard that before. From Ronald Cameron, agreed, Ninja, there's no way in the hell those cynical voters will vote for T.O. on the first ballot, but he's a Hall of Famer to me too. And I think to most football fans, they recognize Terrell Owens' greatness. From Uncle Mike, Oregon had laws on the books in the 60s where blacks couldn't move there. Damn. Wow. From Andre Elam, Will Mack, it's sad because I believe Darren Sharper was probably going to be a Hall of Famer too. You think so? I don't think Darren Sharper was going to be a Hall of Famer. I don't think so. I didn't think Darren Sharper Hall of Famer. Once again, I said it earlier. It's hard as hell. There aren't a lot of safeties in the Hall of Fame. And Steve Atwater isn't in the Hall of Fame yet. Huh? What? Steve Atwater is a typical pro Hall of Fame safety, if you ask me. So what's his name? Ed Reed's going to definitely get in. He's definitely going to get in. But I almost feel like Ed Reed shouldn't get in before Steve Atwater. Steve Atwater was that dude, man. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. K3000, hell yes, Stewies. What you got to offer, Dougie? We'll come with $10,000 built-in listeners. The Stewies, the Doghouse, Stew Nation. Damn, y'all. That is sound good. Stewies, we are part of something huge. Orca big, plus-size model, booty big. I love a thick woman. You had to add that in there, huh, K3000? Okay, so what are y'all talking about doing to help promote the show? Whatever it is, I like it. So evidently at some point there, they're talking about helping out in the promotion of the show and getting the word out about the greatest online sports cast, podcast, talk show, guy talk show in America, the Doug Stewart Show. Yes! Whatever it is, I'm all with you. I mean, people need to know about this good sports talk and guy talk we got going on around here, man. By far. And me and Tree have went and looked at other shows on Spreaker. There is nobody else that comes even close to having the interaction with the show close to what the Stewies got going on in the Fantasy Island of Sports and Guy Chat. Nobody comes close. I mean, sometimes we'll come in here and y'all will post 14, 15, 2,000 messages. All right, so it's a family. And you're right, it is something very special that isn't being recognized right now on the scale that it should, but it's going to happen. People are going to recognize what we're doing around here on the Doug Stewart Show. I'm telling you, at some point they're going to recognize, this ninja breaking records down there in Atlanta. He's got 2,000 chat posts in his chat room on a 2-hour show. Oh, yeah, we are doing big things. Whatever y'all doing, man, I'm down. Let's do it. Don't go away. The Doug Stewart Show. We're back. The Two Live Stews are back on air every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on WGST. It's sports talk with hot sauce. Special thanks to our sponsor, Bruce Hagen, at Hagen-Law.com for making it happen.
640 WGST in Atlanta. Search 640 WGST on iHeartRadio worldwide.
Yes! In life, things happen, good and bad. And being prepared is always important. If you're like me, a husband, a father, and protector of that family tree, then your family is the most important thing in the world. 95 million U.S. adults don't have protection in place. So, what I've done is put my protection in the hands of the largest and number one independent financial services company in North America, and that's Primerica. They look out for middle America because they believe that offering the most competitive premiums only benefits the client and have been doing so since 1977. If you're a parent, husband, or wife and want to discuss options with one of Primerica's top reps, then call my guy, Greg Wynn, at 678-439-7172. Again, that's 678-439-7172, and he'll put your family first. And hey, tell him that Doug Stewart sent you. Yes! Meet me at the club. It's going down. Meet me in the A. It's going down. Meet me in Atlanta. That's right. The weekend of September 26, 2015, we are celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the Doug Stewart Show, Stewies! And it's going to be crazy. We got a whole list of events scheduled for the entire weekend. That's going to be so fun. Come celebrate with your boy. Starting out Friday night, man, with a meet and greet party at the Artist Den downtown ATL. Late Friday night, it's the Fellas Soiree at T's Gentlemen's Club in Buckhead. Saturday morning, the TDSS Golf Shootout at North Fulton Golf Club downtown ATL. Saturday night, the main event, the all-black party at the Doubletree Hotel in Buckhead. And Sunday, the Falcons versus Cowboys viewing/day party on the rooftop lounge at Mardi Gras Cafe, downtown ATL. It's going to be fantastic, man. You've been looking for a reason to come to Atlanta. Here's your perfect reason. Get all the details at tdssweekend.eventbrite.com. Once again, it's tdssweekend.eventbrite.com. See you in Atlanta. The 1-year anniversary of the Doug Stewart Show. Yes! Yes, sir. No more hot tracks for you, Iggy. Hey, welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show, man. Thank you. Are you a Seinfeld fan? You remember, and I became a Seinfeld fan later, much later after the show was canceled. But they had this one episode about the soup Nazi that everybody talks about. And basically it was this restaurant, and it was this foreign guy, and he was real strict about his soup. And if you'd come in there and you wouldn't stand up correct, you wouldn't say the right things, he had like this routine before he would serve you his soup. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. And so George and Jerry, they would go in there, and then the guy, they do this little routine. And if you didn't do it exactly right, he'd say, "No soup for you." And no tracks for Iggy Azalea. So T.I., and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, T.I. stopped by this morning show and was asked about his relationship with Iggy Azalea, the Australian-born rapper. You just heard her track just now, that fancy track, Hot as Hell. And I guess the relationship between them was just from a production standpoint, and I'm sure T.I. probably was writing her rhymes or whatever. But T.I. said that their relationship is over. It's a wrap. And they asked him, the host, the guy's name is Ebro in the Morning. That's the name of the show. His name is Ebro. Ebro was like, "So what happened? What was the breakup? Where did the breakup happen?" T.I. went back to that whole thing with Q-Tip. And Q-Tip basically called out Iggy Azalea, saying, that she was fake to a degree, and she doesn't respect the culture, and she doesn't respect hip-hop. And a lot of people, there was another lady rapper that went in on Iggy Azalea, calling her fake and this, that, and the other. And so the hip-hop community kind of railed against him. And what in effect happened is T.I. dropped her ass like a hot potato. Yeah. He had to separate his brand from that chick, because that chick was toxic. I mean, she was getting killed all online on social media, man, and people were coming at her hard because, I mean, and I understand a lot of it. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I thought her flow was hot. I thought it was cool, but once again, the same way I feel about Drake, if you don't write your rhymes, I lose a lot of respect for you. I mean, that's just what it is. I'm old school in that manner. So there's a problem with that. And then she's Australian, and she got this whole swagger in her delivery of her rhymes, like she was from Stewart Avenue or something like that. And so the whole thing to me was very, very whack. The beats was crazy. Once again, I guess the relationship was T.I. provided her with beats, gave her some type of brand recognition hanging out with her. And so they were making some money off of each other. I guess it was a good thing. And then everybody started going in on girl. T.I. I said T.O. a bunch today. T.I. had to back off. He had to back off from her, man. And that's probably the smart thing to do. Yeah. That's probably the smart thing to do. Let me read more of this chat here and get your thoughts on that story as well. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. From Sluggo, Stewart Avenue, old school ATL. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's not even called Stewart Avenue anymore. It's not even called Stewart Avenue now. What's it called now? Is it called Metropolitan Parkway? I think it's Metropolitan Parkway. See, at some point, and I know somebody listening to the show right now, you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Somebody in the chat room can refresh my memory. At some point, there was some type of move, some type of push to change, kind of like to rebrand some of the toughest parts of Atlanta. So Stewart Avenue, was gone. Stewart Avenue became Metropolitan Parkway. I believe that's what they changed the name to. And then also Bankhead, the Bankhead bounce. I'm sure a lot of people outside of Atlanta heard that song and that whole movement, the dance or whatever. Bankhead Highway is now gone, and they changed the name of Bankhead to the name of a former civil rights leader. And I never remember it. Somebody will tell me here in a second. But they did that with like 2 or 3 streets in Atlanta probably 15 years ago now. It's been a long, long time since Bankhead was known as Bankhead. Let's see. From who do we got here? From Matt, Bankhead gone. Yeah, I just mentioned that. From Stagger Lee, tell him about Miss Piggy Thorny. Come on, man. Stop talking about that man, wife, Stagger. Stagger, I guess you're okay, bro. You back to insulting people. From Thorny Switch Vern, Miss Piggy is the ish, got her own cash and fight a bitch for her man. Wow, come on. Cornelia Small, Doug, I'm with 50 on that. If you hate on Drake, then you got to hate Dr. Dre and Diddy. Let's see, but no, here's the difference. Dr. Dre and Diddy aren't known rappers. They aren't known for being rappers. Dr. Dre and Diddy, Dr. Dre is a producer / executive producer, and Diddy's a executive producer. I'm not talking about them. When we talk about the annals of rappers, we not. I'm fine with somebody that's not really a rapper getting somebody to write their rhymes for them. But you are quote in the conversation of greatest rappers of all times, which supposedly they will have us to believe in Drake. Then you can't have somebody write your rhymes. You can't have Drake in the conversation with Biggie and Tupac and Rakim, and he don't write his rhymes. There's a difference. I don't even qualify or put Dr. Dre and cats like that, Eazy-E. They're not rappers. We don't consider them. They're not in the conversation when we talk about great rappers, bruh. From That Ninja, Nicki Minaj doesn't write ish. That's Wayne all day. I haven't heard that. I haven't been able to confirm that. But if you can show me something where it's confirmed that Lil Wayne's writing raps for Nicki Minaj, then I'll have the same sentiment towards her I do of these other cats I'm talking about. And I never even thought in the first place that Nicki Minaj was one of the top female rappers of all times. I've never have. I like her flow now. I do like it. It's kind of catchy, She got good metaphors and everything. But I don't put her up there with MC Lyte and Latifah. I think maybe if she continues, I might will at some point. Lil' Kim, which here we go. I know people are gonna say Biggie wrote Lil' Kim's rhymes. But nah, I don't put Nicki Minaj in the conversation with the greatest ever. Not yet. From Grego, that freestyle she barked out killed her. Oh, yeah, she's talking about, or he's talking about, my man Grego's talking about Iggy Azalea did some type of freestyle rap, and it was like 1,000,000 miles per second. It was almost like Twister. She tried to pull a Twister, and we know good and well they don't pull Twisters in Australia. So the whole thing seemed very fake, contrived. It's like she had this whole thing prepared, so it wasn't a freestyle. I got a real problem with that, too. When somebody asks you to freestyle, and clearly it's something that you wrote a couple of weeks ago, but you just hadn't released yet, I got a real problem with that. I am just old school in my thinking about this rap thing, man. I'm sorry. I am sorry. There's just certain things you don't do. There's unwritten you don't do when you talk about that rap and that hip-hop culture, man. You just don't. Let's see, from who do we got here? From Ronald Cameron, the Fancy Sound had a little jam on it, but I'm glad T.I. dropped her ass. He had to drop her. Let's see, from K3000, Iggy said she changed the game. Wah ha 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 ha. Yeah. You changed the game. What? You changed what game? What game, heifer? What game did you change? What game did you change? I mean, seriously. She said that? That's a quote? GTFOH. GTFOH. Wow. Bless her heart. 15 minutes of fame over. She made a couple of stacks. Had a good little run. This is a RAP for Iggy Azalea. Hey, man, thank you so much for joining me today on the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you. Shouts out to all of the Stewies. Wow. All we do is chop it up. That's all we do around here on the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you to the Tree of Life. Shouts out to Waterhead, Walter, Dwayne Vassan, Gerald Oliferi. Thank you. And a special shout out to all of the Stewies. Yes, sir. Working on some big things, man. We keep moving forward. We're working on some big things. We'll tell you about them real soon. Make sure you check me out on Fiverr.com. That's Fiverr. And search the Doug Stewart Show, man. We are doing big things on Fiverr.com. Yes, sir. All right. Fastest 2 hours in sports. Damn it. Fastest 2 hours in sports and entertainment. We really want to get that third hour. That would be a great gift to the Stewies if we could get that third hour. You know, a perfect celebration would be on the 22nd. We could announce that we're giving you a third hour and that I could sing some of my classics. That would be a phenomenal birthday gift to y'all. We're going to work on that, man. You got to keep telling people, though. I mean, not only does he talk sports and entertainment, you know, and just like birds fly, fish swim, hookers hook, patriots cheat, he sings as well. I mean, that's tremendous. I mean, you can package that and sell that easily. You know what I'm saying? All right, we'll do it again tomorrow. Same Doug Stewart time, same Doug Stewart channel. Peace.